because if they get to the grand final, they're back here, aren't they? It will be a grand final played at the Leigh Sports Village, so if Leigh make it all the way, although it will be officially neutral territory, it will be a home game for them. Matt Thomason is our referee here today, and a reminder that if we should need the video referee at any point this afternoon, Ian Smith is back with us, fittingly garbed in our truck to have a look at anything should it require his attention. So Gareth Moore about to get things underway in the rain. Really important that they keep the ball safe here. Might be a more conservative game than it might have been otherwise, Paul. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot more down the middle than it would have been, you know, on the edges should it have been dry. So the ball's obviously a major issue, and the team that controls it best, you know, usually wins the game.
And to remind you that Featherstone and Halifax are already through to the semi-finals as such. Each of those will be at home next week. And it's losers here today go out, winners go through to those semi-finals. The other game that's taking place today, Sheffield against Dewsbury, that only kicks off at around 6:15 tonight. So we won't have any updates from that game, but that's the other crucial game today in the championship playoffs. So Leigh looking for early territory here to try and drive it away, and Batley equally looking to step it up in defence to make sure that the team in the red and white hoops are kept down there as much as possible. Moved out quickly between the halves, Ridyard and Briley out to that right-hand side. Defence is good from Batley. That's 4 tackles gone, and they barely made the 20-metre mark here, Leigh, just at the moment. And they are driving into the wind and rain. There's tackle 5. So we're going to see a kick here, but it's from a really difficult position. Back to the middle it goes. It's belted downfield. It's not a bad kick under the circumstances.
It's a good kick by Ridyard, isn't it? He's made all of 65 metres there before Greenwood's got a pick up on it, and you know, he's returned it just outside the 20, but a great defensive set from Batley. Yeah,
well, I'm not sure if you can still hear us. Hope you can. We've got all kinds of electrical problems up here, so we'll carry on regardless. Hope that you can still hear us. Here comes the kick downfield from Gareth Moore in towards that Leigh try line, where it's taken by Greg McNally to run it back, and on now by Maiden, who's going to make it to that 20-metre mark before he's tackled just there. I think the rain has got into the works here, which has caused us 1 or 2 problems. Here's Littler. 30 metres away from his own line. Big men doing the hard work here. Michael Ostick now puts his head down and drives it forward. Good yards gain. It's a better set, this, from Leigh's point of view, than their first set they had. And out from dummy half, Bob Bezic will put the kick. He's behind the 40. He's not really going to trouble that touchline on the far side. Greg Johnson can collect it safely enough, runs it back, and twice now Batley having to start inside their own 20.
Yeah, another good kick, this time from Bezic, out inside his own 40. You know, and Batley begin deep inside their own 20, and that's now 2 players gone. Greg Johnson tackled, and then Miles Greenwood from dummy half tackled. So 2 good sets. Batley replied with 1 of their own, and now they're trying to get out of trouble themselves.
Well, it's tough and testing, just as we'd expected in these early stages, as it is always likely to be in a game like this. Here's Walmsley, Liam Walmsley, who's put down 30 yards away from his own line. Batley's turn to try and create something here if they can. Byron Smith on the 5th is tackled. Switched back, little testing kick down the middle, trying to find a bit of green grass, but it's found only McNally, who can run it back here. It's a real bonus there for Leigh to catch that on the full.
It is not the best kick there by Ben Black, and fielded on the full, allowing McNally to get back to his own 40. So, you know, that little arm wrestle battle of the first 4 sets of 6 has been won by Leigh, and you know, they're almost on halfway on play 3 now.
There's Maiden. Up to dummy half goes Bob Bezic. The rain, if anything, is coming down a little harder at the moment. Here's Stuart Littler switching away to Michael Ostick. 5 metres inside that Batley half. This is Ridyard, offered back in for Duffy, and Ryan Duffy plunders forward again. But that's the 5th. Here comes the last. Bezic picks up. Ridyard now with a kick high. It's not gone too far forward, but it's certainly gone high. It's a tester. They've let it bounce. It's anybody's ball here. Littler knocks it backwards. I think it was play on. It is. The referee says it's still the 5th, but a little bit of a shuffle and a miscue. Almost letting Bretherton in. And in fact, it will be a handover as Leigh get on that ball.
Yeah, I think Paul Rowley will be furious there. It's not the best kick on last play. You know, they've kicked the ball 3 times, and 2 of them have been fantastic kicks inside the Batley 20-metre area, and this time they hand it over on the halfway line. So, you know, not the best kick. But they've got an error there, an error, knock on.
A little bit of a miscue. So it will be head and feed here for Leigh. 5 metres inside their own half. It's as we expected here, Gareth Walker. 2 teams just going through the conservative actions of a game where it's a lot of rain and potential handling errors.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it does develop like that, as we expect it to, I think that there will be key roles for the back 3 of both teams. You know, the 2 of the most consistent back 3s there, McNally, Maiden and Pownall for Leigh. And Johnson, Greenwood and Campbell have been excellent for Batley all year. They're going to have a lot of work to do today, fielding kicks, hopefully mistake-free as well. They could have big parts to play, I think, in who wins this match.
Here's Aspinwall. He has plenty of experience, doesn't he? Martin Aspinwall. Taken on by Ridyard. Adam Hickson is the man at dummy half who's going to have a little shuffle here. 30 metres away. Bezic stands and waits, spinning it back to the middle again. Ridyard again offering it to a couple and then allowing Aspinwall to have a little bit of a push. Well, they've got 5 tackles gone, they've only got 1 to go, but they are as close as they have been so far in the game. It's Ridyard again who slides it through, but well covered, and no problems for Batley to bring it out again here. We seem to have solved our problems here, our electrical problems here. Hopefully you've been able to hear us throughout anyway, but it is Batley who are back in possession here. So Paul Kirk, what have you made of this game so far?
Yeah, everything we expected. You know, both teams keeping it tight down the middle. 1 error from Batley on the halfway line, and 1 poor kick from Leigh. And as we expect in this rain, you know, the team that holds the ball the best gives themselves the best opportunity to win the game. And a great kick from Gareth Moore puts, you know, Leigh back inside their own in goal. It's just going to go dead. So 20-metre restart, but as we expect, a battle down the middle.
Oh, hang on. Referee's given a dropout here. He reckons there was a touch earlier on. Oh, why don't you have a look at the big screen, ref, he says. And the ref says no. Made my own mind up. Matt Thomason says that. Definitely a touch. So what about this? Well, it wasn't here. This was okay. Nothing wrong here.
I think it's as he's kicked the ball, isn't it? He's saying that he's attempted charge down and he's touched the ball.
And McNally clearly wasn't aware of it, was he? Because he would have picked that ball up. So that's a big bonus for Batley here now, and their first real chance to have a go at the line. Well,
hopefully we'll have a look at that. But here comes Mullally in the meantime for Batley, who on the first tackle drives it to 35 metres away. It's offered on for Byron Smith to have a go down that left-hand side. Well, here we go, and there's the touch. There was a touch. So that's why we have this position here. Batley in position A, 20 metres out. Gareth Moore again. Back it goes to Ben Black. On to Miles Greenwood, the fullback joining in. Closer and closer they get. Mennell again now. Black once more. It's a terrific pass out to Johnny Campbell. It needs some finishing. He's got over the line, but it's going to be carried out of play. Great reaction by the Leigh defence.
Great defence, wasn't it? A fantastic pass from Ben Black. You know, and you know, full credit to the winger there. He's had a good go to finish the try, and fantastic defence. And you know, McNally comes away with it for a 20-metre restart and gets a quick one. And you know, Leigh are back on the front foot. So everything we expect from this game, it's fast and it's furious. And now there's an incident in back play.
Well, Steve Maiden, I think, might have been involved there.
Jonathan Davis, I believe, the back row on the left side of the field. The touch judge has seen something.
I don't know whether Davis was trying to free himself and kind of struck out. That seemed to be what happened. He was straight on the touch judge.
Well, the boot was up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Steve Maidens took offence to him dumping him onto the floor. Unfortunately, when you're making a tackle low down and you know, the attacking player gets an offload, you don't know nothing about it, so you continue with the tackle, and Jonathan Davis has continued with the tackle, and Maiden's taken offence to it and kicked out. He's, you know, maybe lucky to be not receiving a yellow card for that. He's obviously kicking out.
Touch judge obviously spotted it. This is the attempt by Johnny Campbell.
So the penalty, and they're electing to go for goal. Gareth Moore on that left foot. Is this going to be the first point of the game? It is. And on a day like today, 2 points that may prove to be very important for John Keir and his Batley side. Gareth Moore with a goal, and Batley have the opening score.
Yeah, it could be very vital goal kicking. It's not something we've spoken about up to now in the programme, but you know, on days like today and in weather like this, you know, opportunities at the try line are few and far between, and you know, gifting penalties has made and has done to Gareth Moore there, has given Batley a 2-point lead.
So there's Ridyard with a restart. Batley patching it safely. They'll be happier with the way things have gone so far. They've had some lively encounters, these two, as we've mentioned a little earlier in this season. Here, a pickup and a dash from dummy half by Johnson. Exciting for him, I'm sure. Moving to the Salford Red Devils next year. He and Jason Walton stepping up to Super League. This is Walton now cutting back in. It was a forward pass. I think he just overtimed it, hadn't he? Overrun it.
Good work.
And headed feed for Leigh. Oh, in fact, he's given the offside. He's given the offside. Has he the obstruction?
He's given obstruction. I'm not so sure what he's given obstruction for there. I think Walton's just come on a similar line to Walmsley, the back row, and he's got in front of him. I don't see an obstruction there. I'm not so sure why.
Was it given that Walmsley touched the ball onto Walton, who was in front of him, and be offside? I can't see where the obstruction is there either.
Right, well, it was obstruction apparently, but anyway, here we go. Leigh in possession. Here's Bezic at dummy half, 15 metres away. They're lining up here with potential. Ridyard on, good hit on Finnegan. Finnegan's going to be put down more or less in the place where the last play the ball was. A shuffle forward by Duffy. Well, they've still got plenty of tackles in the bag here. Still about 3 tackles. Here's Ridyard across to Brierley, bringing on Littler, who came on at pace and with power, but Batley's defence is able to match that at this occasion. Bezic now spinning it away. Ridyard again. This is Aspinwall. Well, Batley's defence is doing well here. Leigh with 5 tackles gone, up from dummy half. Bezic tries to slot it to that in-goal area. It's a lovely dinky little kick, and all that Walton can do is pick it up, concede the dropout underneath the sticks, and I think we might see plenty of those today. Yeah, the short kicking game is obviously going to be very, very important anyway, in and around the try line. He can put it in there, it's safety first. Walton gets rid of it, and it's a goal line dropout. It's Finnegan, the referee just calling Finnegan over him, and Walton having a little dispute after Walton's picked Finnegan up and thrown him onto the floor. So yeah, there's still a bit of a running battle there between Walton and Finnegan. It's spicing things up. It's how we love to see it, though, isn't it? We love that kind of thing. There's a lot at stake, a hell of a lot at stake in this game, and why shouldn't the players be fired up? To remind you, to tell you for the first time if you're just switching on and not sure what's going on here, Leigh against Batley, join the club, Leigh against Batley, and whoever loses today, it's the end of their season. Whoever wins will be 80 minutes away from a grand final, so it is absolutely glory or garbage, one way or the other. Here comes Bezic from dummy half, just trying to bring on Ostic here, shuffling forward again. Good response from that Batley defence, all over him. Aggressive stuff. Bezic has to stand and wait again here. This is Aspinwall, head down and barge again, looking for position with 2 tackles still to go. Bezic out to Brierley. Brierley with a dummy to a couple, and Littler comes in on that angle run and gets the pass away, but it's dropped by Tommy Golden, picked up by Batley, a chance to bring it away. It's the advantage play here, hence the kick downfield. It doesn't come off, so they go back to where they were and head and feed at the spot. I'd be a little bit disappointed if I was John Keir there in Miles Greenwood. You know, they've got Leigh there. They've made an extra 10 metres from where he's picked the ball up, even 15, and got outside their own 20, and the Leigh forwards have still got to get behind the ball, and he comes up with a speculator of a kick, and you know, it's a 1 in 10 chance of coming off, and they've got to go back to their own 10 and start again. And I'm not so sure that the free play was a good option to kick the ball on. So the jury's still out, isn't it? And there's the jury, the Leigh jury at the moment, sitting in judgment of the way their side are playing at the moment. But the jury's still out, Gareth Walker, on that advantage play.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we've seen it almost encourages poor play sometimes, like Paul said there. You know, he's gone for a 1 in 10 play, really, where if he takes the tackle, he's 10 metres further on and giving his side a bit of momentum. I'm not a fan. I was at the beginning. I'm not so sure now.
Taking the time here, Batley. Leigh's defence doing their job in trying to slow things down.
Wait.
Well, that was a knock-on. Knock-on.
You see, there's the free play disadvantage. They've had to come off their own 10 instead of, you know, the first tackle would have been roughly where Walmsley's been tackled there had Greenwood not kicked it. And I think what the free play does encourage is people that don't normally kick the ball to just try a speculator of a kick or try a speculator of a pass instead of just taking the easier option and gaining the metres.
Well, we're getting a stat here. 50 tries have been scored in Super League this year on the back of an advantage play. 50 tries, that's a lot, isn't it? Anyway, back to game in hand. Championship Rugby League is what we're watching here. Keeping us entertained in the rain. Batley leading by just those 2 points, the penalty. And this is Maiden, who finds himself only 5 metres away from that Batley line. Bezic again is the man at dummy half. Here's Aspinwall, who again will use that bulk and power and energy of his to try and test the Batley defence to the limit. They hang on. It's Bezic once more. Ridyard thinking about the big pass, then puts the slide kick in. It was a wonderful kick, and Adam Hickson is over to touch it down. But whether it's a try or not, well, we're not entirely sure because there's squares in the air here. So Ian Smith, for the first time today, it's over to you.
Side offside. Also obstruction. Are there any players in front of the ball here who are having an advantage against the defence? So can you just jog that one back, please, and pause it on the foot? So let's adjudicate the onside offside to start with. Right, so he's clearly onside. So we need an angle on. Is it Simon Finnegan? Does he prevent the Batley player from coming forward, or is he always going on the slide? So I could do with. Just jog it back. I think he kicks it before he even gets there. So yeah, run that forward slow. Yeah, play it on. He's on his inside shoulder, so it's just a grounding. That's a try, mate. That's a try, Matt.
Well, the try is confirmed by Ian Smith. First of the day. It's taken us very nearly 14 minutes. Adam Hickson, the try scorer, but a clever kick to set him up there, Porker.
It is, and we spoke about Ridyard before the game and what he brings to the Leigh team. And you know, he's weighed up the options there. He's thrown a dummy and he's come up with the correct play. He's rolled it through, and it's a perfectly weighted kick. And you know, all the centre has to do there is dive on the ball, and such is the weather. You know, you just want the ball in the in goal trickling like that to be able to score a try. It's a dream.
He had a lot of options there, didn't he, Paul? He had short runners, guys on the outside. He could have gone long with the pass. He chose to the kick, and obviously the right option, but the fact that he had so many options must have helped him there and put the Batley defence in a bit of confusion.
So Ridyard, having created the try with a boot, now has the chance with the same boot to add another 2 points to this Leigh score. 4-2, they lead at the moment. And in the rain again, every now and again we get heavier and heavier bursts, and we're just having one of those at the moment. And Ridyard looks as though he might have lost his footing there when he hit that, but he hasn't. He has put it between the uprights superbly well given these conditions, and it is a 6 points to 2 lead that Leigh have with 15 minutes played.
Yeah, there it is. Ridyard just weighs up the options and finds the correct one. It's a pet play of Leigh with the 2 front rows going through and the half back out the back, and then there's plenty of options off the half there online. So fantastic try. And
you happy enough with the video referee decision?
Yeah, I think he's got it right.
What about that?
Absolutely spot on, but that's a great kick-off from Gareth Moore, isn't it? One bouncing over. So you know, how many times in rugby league do we see it, Dave, where you score a try and then you incomplete the next set, or you know, fail to catch a kick-off? It's a wicked kick-off in this weather.
There's not a lot you could do about that, I don't think, anywhere, is there? Unless you get that ball on the full, and he put in a good place there. The bounce on that there just made it impossible to defend against.
I was going to say, I mean, that's testament to the ground staff, isn't it? Because it's a wet day, it's a wet period, but it bounced as if the pitch was bone dry. Terrific surface. Not that Leigh are too happy about that at the moment, because Batley in position A. Mennell offering it on for Byron Smith to have a little push through. 30 metres out. Here comes Mennell again. This now is Gareth Moore and Ash Lindsay. Takes it forward. I think he got a broken rib playing against Leigh early this year, didn't he, Ash Lindsay? Here's Ben Black. Oh, and it's a pass that's taken well by Leah Walmsley, but then knocked on in the collision. And Leigh again have the advantage. And none forthcoming. So head and feed again.
Yeah, good tackle, wasn't it? It's a fantastic tackle. Adam Hickson put his shoulder in there, didn't he? And dislodged the ball. And if you get your shoulder in this weather, then it's going to make it very difficult to hold on to that ball.
You know it's a bad day when the rain's making more noise than the crowd. And that's what we've got at the moment. Hammering down on the corrugated tin roofs, if that is in fact what they're made of these days. Leigh in possession. Bezic, it's a game to endure from players' points of view, to grind out the win and look for that occasional flash of brilliance. Leigh have the advantage, but only just. And here comes Ridyard. Look at how early he's kicking here. Downfield he puts it. It's going to be taken by Johnson. Johnson has a little bit of a look up and sees that there's plenty of chasers in line, and he's not going to get any further than that. 30 yards out.
Yeah, again, good play by Leigh. You know, they've kicked early, and you know the field position's vital. And I suppose in this weather, the less you have the ball and the more you're defending, the more likely it is that the other team are going to make an error. So to kick early is a big weapon in this kind of weather.
Such a shame, isn't it, that this is the time of year when we get this time of weather. This is the time of the year when we sort out champions from also rans, and it's not the Flair Open Rugby League that necessarily settles it at this time of year. Here comes Lindsay, Ash Lindsay, running forward stoutly, but equally stout was the defence from Leigh. That was a fifth. So the last comes next. Back it comes. Gareth Moore puts it high. Spinning away, McNally's underneath this. Oh, and he's knocked it forward. Not only lost it, but lost it forward. And Batley's head and feed.
Another wicked kick from Gareth Moore, isn't it? It was pretty much like the kick-off where he's kicked it and it spiralled in the air. And you know, McNally's in all sorts of trouble trying to catch it. A very difficult kick to catch, and comes up with another error. And Batley are on the attack 10 metres from the Leigh line with a scrum now.
It's shaping up to be Ridyard against Moore's kicking game at the moment, isn't it? Which of those two can come up with the best kicks, and both have been excellent so far. Big chance for this for Batley.
Ben Black feeds it. Referee's not happy, so we're going to have this one again. Ben Black puts it in again. Mennell at loose forward pulls it out. Left it goes. Here comes Walton, the centre. 10 metres away, Batley. 5 tackles to go here. Mennell is the man at dummy half again. Davis cuts back in against the grain of that defence, he hopes, but it recovers well enough. Golden with a tackle. So Batley try again. Shuffling forward goes Mullally. Anthony Mullally held up only a couple of strides away from where he wants to be. Big shout from the Leigh fans who thought he'd knocked on. Big blast of the whistle from the referee, who decides he was impeded. So penalty for Batley, another set of 6. They're not going to go for goal here, are they?
I think they probably will. A 2-point ball game, and yeah, I think they'll probably go for 2. And Ben Black's signalling, and Gareth Moore's obviously got the kicking tee on already. And I think both coaches recognise how tight this game is going to be. It's an eliminator, and the weather's not great. And once you're down there, you need to come away with something. And John Key is going to come away with 2 points more than likely right now.
But the argument against this, and far be it from me to test my knowledge of rugby league against that man's knowledge of rugby league. He's been there, done it all. Challenge Cup winner in 95, was it, when you scored that try and celebrated before you put the ball down? Was it 95? Right? 2005, yeah, sorry. Right. Mixing up my decades. Anyway, kick goes over, so it is 6-4. But surely now Batley are going to have to handle the ball inside their own 20. That's the problem, isn't it?
It is, and it's one, you know, probably catch-22 where, you know, do you take the 2 and move on, or do you go for the try? And then if you come up with an error, you know, it galvanises Leigh's defence. And had I been John Keir, I think I'd have probably taken the 2 like he has and moved on, and you're only a goal kick behind and a try to go in front.
So here's Ridyard with the restart, and Batley will be hoping against hope. They do not make any mistakes now. Leigh will be looking to put the pressure on to try and force an error at that end if they can.
Hold, wait, hold, go.
Plenty of hard yards to be made. Walton will take it forward up to the 20-metre mark, where he's tackled easily enough by those Leigh defenders. Little scramble from dummy half.
Move. Hold, wait there, go.
Kept it safe and sound so far. Driven in by Byron Smith. Well, a Castleford man, of course, former Rochdale man, which always brings a smile to the face of Gareth Walker. The mention of the word Rochdale, who are playing today, aren't they? Big game today as well.
Yeah, huge game, a chance to get to a first final in over 20 years. There's a big decision here, penalty for Batley. I think it does knock on.
I think it is a penalty, and it's a poor penalty to give away from the Leigh defence. They've worked very, very hard to keep them inside their own half, and I think it's Bezic. Is it Bezic? Yeah, Bezic just has a pull at it. You know, it's a poor penalty to give away, and it'll make Paul Rowley pretty much suicidal there on the bench.
So the tap restart, Walton running it in hard. He does that well, and he's always lost that. Well, there was a little, the ball came free there. Ball came free, but I don't think either official managed to spot that. Here's Ash Lindsay, losing his footing a little on the grass. Now have a look at this. See, that ball came free. But anyway, they've allowed to play on. Here's Walmsley, Liam Walmsley, inside the 20. 3 tackles to go. This is Ben Black. Tried the pass, took a deflection, went forward. And despite being picked up and touched down by Liam Walmsley, it is going to be head and feet for Leigh.
Yeah, Ben Black playing at the line there, and he tries to tip it on. I think it's Ash Lindsay, and he comes up with the error, but yeah, Lindsay's not even looking at the ball, and Ridyard's made a great read and put his shoulder in there, and Leigh survive.
Heads in, come on, pack in. Miles, head in, pack in.
It's hard to imagine that we've been wearing shorts at some games this season. On a day like today, it started cold this season and it's finishing wet.
Move!
Here's Bezic, a dummy half for Leigh. Taken on by Golden.
2, move! Go!
Bezic again. Big drive forward. Is that Spencer or Bate who's on from the substitutes bench? Turn that right-hand side. Well, good work from the Batley defence. Leigh losing a bit of momentum here. Spencer pushing it in. That's tackle 5. And here comes a final tackle in this set. Oh, the slip in the conditions. The ball's given away cheaply, and Batley get an excellent return here.
Yeah, Brearley just losing his footing before he goes to kick the ball, giving Batley some great field position to attack the Leigh line. But again, it's against that wind. They're trying to get as much distance on as they can on the kicks. Batley are working hard to keep Leigh inside their own 30-metre zone, and you know they're just winning the battle at the minute. Batley.
There's Byron Smith to within 12 metres. Right, it comes again now. Black inside for the fullback Greenwood, who's joining in the line here. 4 Leigh defenders, making sure that he's kept at bay. But look how close they are. A dummy half, it's Mennell. Eventually, here he comes, Mennell, spinning it onto Black. Black slides it in, hits the legs of a Leigh man. Dropped on, played at, another set. 6 more tackles to go here. Another bonus from Batley's point of view. Taken in by Keegan Hurst. Relatively fresh from that interchange bench. Mennell again. Goes to the right-hand side this time, and Walton sees a bit of a gap, but it's closed by a shoulder. Bezic got in there, made the connection, and Walton stopped, even though Bezic ended up on his backside. Taken on by Black again now, trying to thread his way through those Leigh defenders. Can't do so. Heroic stuff in defence from Leigh just at the moment. Mennell throws it to that left-hand side. Eventually the kick goes up from Gareth Moore. A little hand back, I think. Collected on that far side. A reach.
Go to the screen, I think, Dave.
A claim here. Was it Bretherton who got there? Well, they're going to the video referee to make absolutely sure one way or another. Here comes Ian Smith.
Again from a kick, so we're looking at onside, offside, the challenge in mid-air, and then the grounding. So they're onside. So let's go to the challenge in mid-air, please. So the corner camp, yep. So he jumps above him, he bats it back, so it's not a knock-on, so it's purely about the grounding. The corner flag doesn't count, so it's if he's in mid-air and he gets the ball down, clearly I can't see anything on that. This will be the one, even with rain on the lens. So if you could do this nice and slow, please, mate. So he's in mid-air. Oh, just jog that one back. Just jog it back, please. So does he put the ball on the ground? He's clearly not in touch. The corner flag doesn't count. That's a try. That's a try for me, definitely. That's a try.
Well, I think Ian Smith has just come up with the understatement of the day. That's a try. That's more than a try, that's sensational.
That's absolutely unbelievable, and we'd be waxing lyrical of that if it was in the NRL or if it was in the Super League, and that is a fantastic, fantastic try from the centre, Alex Bretherton, and you know, I think he usually plays in the back row, but what a piece of skill in this weather, and you know, to keep himself airborne and then find the line just inside the dead-in goal line is one hell of a piece of skill.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say what Paul did about the NRL. We're lucky enough to see a lot of their games on Premier Sports every weekend, and we do see tries like that. That wouldn't have looked out of place there, the amount of skill he showed to put that ball down. And in what could be a really close game here, that could be a massive play in terms of Batley's season by Alex Bretherton.
Well, as you say, renowned more for his edge defending, his really tough edge defending, isn't he? But maybe now he'll get a reputation as a scorer of flamboyant tries.
Again, it's off the left foot of Gareth Moore, and we've seen Ridyard down one end, roller kick in perfectly, and Gareth Moore puts it on a 5-pence piece for the challenge from the winger, and he knocks it back to Bretherton, who absolutely didn't disappoint with his finish.
Here comes Moore with a very tough attempt from the touchline. Oh, he's put it through. He's put it through the uprights. So as good as the try was, the kick was pretty special too. 6 points to Leigh, 10 points to Batley, and have a look at this one again.
Yeah, it's a good challenge from Johnson, isn't it? And a fantastic finish. Fantastic.
Oldham 6, Rochdale 8, by the way, is the latest score in the Championship 1 playoff game. Here comes the restart. Leigh 6, Batley 10, but just what Leigh wanted right from the restart. A kick that causes an error, a dropout underneath the sticks, and now the home side have a chance to apply more than a little pressure here. That was a poor effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, wicked kick-off again, and we've got two very, very good kickers of the ball from on a tee for kick-offs and for goals, and you know, and they're not too bad themselves either when they kick the ball in the general field of play. So a good result, but again we sound like we're repeating ourselves, but an error from a try off a kick-off, and Leigh now looking to put some pressure on Batley's try line.
Well, terrific game at the moment. Here's Bate driving it forward.
Hold, wait.
Who's going to be tackled just inside that Batley half. So Leigh with possession here. 4 tackles to go from here. Bezic is the man at dummy half. Spencer, the big fella. I think he's still on Wigan's books, isn't he, Tom Spencer?
Move. Wait.
Youngster who came through the ranks.
Wait here. Go.
Bezic. Ridyard. Littler. Getting closer and closer here. 12 minutes just over of this first half remaining, and Leigh hoping to pat if they can. Ridyard again carrying it towards the line and offers it to Bate, who spins around and he's held up by that Batley defence. Now here comes a kick, you'd have thought. Ridyard has taken up position behind the line. Back it comes to give him a bit of space and time, and threads it through again. There's danger here. Walton gets a foot to it, no more than that. And it's just carried out of play in the end by Johnny Campbell. It'll be a dropout underneath the sticks.
Yeah, another great kick from Ridyard. He rolls it just onto the try line, and I think Walton tried to take safety first and had an air swing, and Campbell's there to clean it up for him, and a goal line dropout, so more pressure for Batley.
Come on, guys, let's go with it, mate.
Swirling wind at the moment. It started in the faces of Leigh. I'm not sure where the wind's blowing at the moment. Maybe that'll give us a bit of a clue, that kick. It's not a bad one in the circumstances. Bate will collect it, and look how quickly he's into his stride here, and hammers it in to that Batley line.
Hold, wait, go.
Here's Bezic. Golden. Little shuffle forward by him.
2, move.
Bezic again
Good work, go.
at acting half. Taking off a little. Aspinwall.
3, move 2.
3 gone, 3 to go. Bezic again. Stands and waits. Delivers to Ridyard once more. Ridyard's dummy, trying to draw this Batley defence out.
Held there 4, move.
Alex Rowe went, but there were 2 more waiting just behind. Bezic again. Aspinwall spilt it. Davis comes up with it and then gets the pass away. They're trying something tricky again here on the zero play, but this time keep a hold of it. Maybe they heard you last time.
Yeah, and look, they've still got to get back onside the Leigh defence, and you know, whereas if it's a scrum on the 10-metre line, they're set, they've had a rest, and they're ready to go. And I think it was a fantastic shot from Keegan Hurst there in the middle of the field that caused the error. So, you know, fantastic shot from Keegan.
Second.
So young Fairbank is on the field with a drive. Well, the kick was not the best. He didn't really get hold of that, did he, Ben Black? Oh, and it might come up their way anyway. A slip in defence by Littler. Campbell drops on it, and Batley get another set from here. Incredible luck, and then all kind of circus skills going on in the middle of the park, and they still have possession. Oh, it's getting fiery. Yeah, it's getting fiery. Well, the referee quickly in there, but just as quickly as he got in there, he just took a step back as well. And the big fellas sort themselves out. How did this all start?
It's Flanagan with the ball in his hand. He's took a scrag of the shirt from Maiden and... Oh. Hickson will throw a left hand.
Well, we talked about it before the game, didn't we? Said there might be a bit of feeling between the players, and there was no hesitancy there in getting involved with it when it started. See it again a bit better here, perhaps.
Is it Hickson throwing a left hand there over the top?
It's Maiden involved as well there, isn't it?
Well, they're all quick to get involved. The referee was quite close here. Touch judge on one side would have had a good view. Here we go again. Have a look at this. Here he's pulled. Was there a bit of an elbow from Flanagan as well on the ground?
Is that what maybe kicks it off? He's on the ground and he's throwing an elbow. He's got Hickson for throwing the first punch, but if he's not seen the elbow, then it looks like Hickson's the first punch. So I think they'll go for goal. I think they'll take another 2 points. Will John Kieran? They'll move on. And the way Gareth Moore's kicking the ball with his left foot, you would almost give him it from 40 metres out.
I think in the play that led to that as well, Johnny Campbell deserves some credit because he was on the right wing. He was the first to react to Ben Black's kind of ricocheted kick and get onto it when Littler couldn't gather it in. Great effort from him, and that set the platform for this. Certainly Batley are up for this, aren't they, today?
I think from the very first set of 6, the kick-off where they restricted them to 4 tackles inside the 20-metre area, you knew that Batley was here to play today, and Leigh struggled to get out of their own 30-metre zone before kicking the ball, and told me everything about Batley's attitude and desire for today's game.
Just there, just looks as though Flanagan might have, whether it was intentional, I'm not sure, but it caught Maiden, and that's what caused Maiden to react, wasn't it? In that little fracas.
I think he caught Maiden. I don't know why. I don't know why Hickson's throwing a punch, Dave, would be my answer to that.
Well, the kick is good, terrific from Gareth Moore. 3 out of 3 from him. 6 now to Leigh, 12 to Batley. Remember, Leigh were leading by 6 points to 2. But Batley have come back with penalty, try, penalty. And now have a healthy-ish lead.
And that's where those penalties add up, I guess, don't they? All of a sudden you look at it, it turn around into a 6-point advantage, and in these conditions, those margins could be crucial.
I think John Key will have his fingers crossed for the Batley team to catch the kick-off.
Here's Ridyard with a restart. Taken well enough by Johnson on that left-hand side.
Surrender! Stand! Let him up! One.
Greenwood is the man who moves up to dummy half. He's going to have a go here.
Surrender!
Leigh's defence is organised well enough.
Move! Go!
Leigh just looking to keep their opponents as deep inside their own half as they possibly can here.
Go.
There's Rowe.
Let him up! Go!
Alex Rowe to his feet. Flanagan plays it back. Oh, the kick is charged down by Gareth Moore. It's awkward for Batley here, but again they've got the benefit. Johnson down that left-hand side, making the break, and inside that Leigh half.
He didn't even look, did he, Johnson? You know, not great play from the winger there. He didn't even look, and Bretherton had got into a decent position.
Well, they're getting all the look at the moment, Batley, aren't they? I know there's this theory that you make your own look, but I mean that should have been Leigh's ball down there. Instead, Johnson's at the other end of the field virtually.
Hold, go.
And with tackles in the back, 3 to go. Here comes Moore. Keegan Hurst, big fella, takes it in, gets the arm free. Besic just does enough to make sure he can't get the pass away. Picked up by Flanagan. Referee says play on. Flanagan's overcooked that. And it's a tap back on the 20.
Yeah, it's a poor kick from Flanagan, and I think if I was one of the halves there, I'd be just sending him a message saying keep your feet off the ball and we'll kick it. They've been fantastic, the two halves, in the way they've kicked the ball in the game up to now, and then Flanagan kicks one and kicks it dead and lets Leigh off the hook.
Wait! Go, good work!
Keegan Hurst has been a handful, hasn't he, off the bench, both in attack and defence. He's kind of stood out. And with him and Alex Rowe coming off, the two big guys there, haven't they?
Spencer
I
lost it.
think he did lose it.
Yeah.
He lost it and regathered it. A fantastic shot in defence. Jacob Fairbank, I think it was, right shoulder, right into the ball, and he lost it and then regained it. But once you've lost it and it's hit the opponent, it's a knock-on. There we have it.
And the Fairbank family haven't missed many tackles over the years, have they? I'm sure you've been on the end of the odd Fairbank shoulder in your time.
You're talking to Gareth.
Heads in! Stay!
Here comes Black with a feed. Flanagan picks up from the back of the scrum, taken in by Greenwood.
One, move! Hold, go!
Here's Flanagan. Davis, who always impresses us with his work rate whenever he plays, whenever we see him playing. He's held up 30 yards away. Batley dominating this at the moment. Keegan Hurst trying to twist his way out of those three defenders. Takes a lot of energy out of that Leigh defence to stop him and put him down. But good response from Leigh's defence. Spencer coming in with a particularly solid hit of his own. Here comes Gareth Moore with a drop goal. Has it gone through? No, it's not. It's wide. It's wide. It's a tap back on the 20.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that play. I think they've got him under a hell of a lot of pressure, Batley, and it seems a bit of a panic play to me, where rolling the ball in Gareth Moore and trying to put McNally and the wingers under some pressure would be the best thing to do.
There's Finnegan.
Move! Hold, wait!
Is Bezic just moving a little awkwardly at the moment? Just seems to be limping a little, isn't he, Bob Bezic, as he gets up to dummy half. Penkovic, of course, on the bench. Here's Littler.
His left leg, isn't it? He is struggling a little bit right there, Dave.
Ridyard. Aspinwall.
5 left, movement!
Bezic's back here in that acting half position again. Ridyard looking for the kick off the right foot. He's going to find a bit of grass here. It's allowed to bounce by Johnson, who has got a bit of fortune in terms it bounced to him, but then he slips over. So Batley with a hard yard to do from deep inside their own half here.
2, move, Bob!
Could he have claimed that on the full? Would you have liked to have seen him claim that on the full?
I would prefer, yeah, absolutely. But they've got a penalty now. The back three of Batley are very, very good, and playing against the three of them and looking at them at videos, and if you can stop that back three making any meters, it makes it a hell of a lot easier defensively. But you've seen there, Johnson's taken the first, and then Greenwood's got a quick play the ball. Campbell's jumped out, they've caught them not square, and all of a sudden they're on the halfway line. So trying to stop that dangerous back three of Batley's is half the battle when you look at Leigh's defence.
Wait for a foot on.
It has stopped raining, by the way, in case you were worried. It has stopped raining just for the moment. Here's Davis, 10 metres inside the Leigh half. It's Keegan Hurst. Twisted down, put down, but up to his feet relatively quickly to get that play the ball away. This is Rowe. Rowe pops it over the top. Misguided. Well, it was a forward pass in the first place, so the Leigh knock-on doesn't count. And it will be Leigh's head and feet.
Yeah, poor error from Alex Rowe. It's not what's needed in these conditions, and Batley are turning the screw, and then an error like that just sucks all the air out of your offence and gives Leigh a breather and a break and time to compose themselves, because Leigh haven't been great. Not had too much ball over the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Here's Littler.
1, move! Hold, wait, go! 2,
Decent
move!
hit.
Yeah, making up for it is Alex, isn't he?
Hold, go!
Well, the ball's gone free, but it's gone backwards, so picked up by John Pownall. No irretrievable damage done just for the moment from Leigh.
4 movement! Let go!
Bezic. Ridyard again. Briley helps it on. McNally, the fullback, is in the line.
Oh, 5,
But that's the 5th.
Go.
Still short of the 40, so they need a decent kick here. Or they might go through hands, and Littler belts it downfield. Greenwood, carefully, cautiously, just taking it in and running it back. He's going to get up to the 30-metre mark here before he's met by that Leigh defence.
Move, Adam! Hold!
You can guarantee Campbell's going to have a carry from there. Out of dummy half, again the back three.
Surrender!
Two of them have had a carry.
2.
Here's Walmsley.
Stand!
A little bit of a slip as he tries to put the footwork on.
Campbell again.
Off he goes, taking the weight off the forward shoulders and making a bit of ground here inside the Leigh half. Couple of tackles still to go.
Hold, go.
Flanagan's the man at dummy half. It's a solid effort this time from Alex Rowe, who carries it forward.
Move.
Platform for the kick here.
Go.
Hands in the air, fingers in the air. They've told Ben Black what they want. Up it goes. It's certainly high enough. McNally is surrounded by Batley players, has knocked it on again. And even though he drops on it, it will be Batley's head and feet at the scrum. Must be a nightmare playing at fullback today.
It must be in this kind of weather, yeah, and the wind howling and blowing and, you know, the rain driving down, and McNally's dropped a couple now, but a great set, I think, from Batley when you look at the winger carries twice, the fullback, Alex Rowe makes up for his error in the last set where he carries strong, and then Ben Black, one of the halves, comes up with a kick. It's all going to plan for John Keir and his men.
Heads in. Out.
Minute and 13 of the first half remaining, and a little kick over the top from Gareth Moore straight away. McNally's back there, but a danger of going into the in-goal area. Well, what about that play? Because there was time enough for a full set. That was a knock-on, but offside. So penalty for Leigh. Time for a full set, so what about that early play from Ben Black?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. Again, it just smells of a bit of panic to me, and, you know, play the set out. You've got a minute to play till half-time, and with a full set of 6, you could maybe come up with a try, and I think McNally had read it perfectly. I think Paul Rowley would like to get hold of his charges at half-time too. They're arguing with the referee more than they're concentrating on the game at the minute. Regardless of why would you want to take a quick tap down on your own 10-metre line, Steve Maiden, would be my question to him at half-time. Let the referee and play on.
Well, they might have time for 4 or 5 tackles here. They might get the full set in. There's tackle 1, and they're already inside the Batley half, so there's a chance of Leigh finishing this half with a little bit of glory, maybe. That's what they'll be hoping for, trailing as they do by those 12 points to 6.
Go.
Here's Bezic. Golden. 3 tackles gone.
Hold there.
So 3 to go. 20 seconds left. Should get them in. Ridyard. Oh, McNally's not a good pass to him. It wasn't the fullback's fault. The pass was poor. But Pownell drops on it, so they've lost time. They've lost momentum. I'm pretty sure this will be the final play here now. The chip through. The chase is on. It's dropped on by Walmsley. That's all he had to do with the hooter sounding in his ears. And half-time, Leigh 6, Batley 12. Paul Coote, what have you made of all of that?
I think John Keir will be extremely happy. I think Paul Rowley will be desperately